Hey, Crystal Maiden here for part 7 of Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay, Sonic. Now put that emerald.
Tails, tell Sonic to meet you back at the research facility.
Sonic,
Now.
Amy is.
I didn't get that, Tails. What happened to Amy? Tails!
I like how Sonic got all serious and stuff instead of being all cocky. Like, it makes the tension and drama actually work. But now we've got Meteor Herd to suffer through. The biggest problem that I have with this level is that it's too big, and so it lasts for too long. Especially if you get really unlucky and the emerald shards spawn really far away from each other. And my second biggest problem with this level is that constantly meteors will fall down from the sky and hurt you. And it's especially easy for that to happen if you're climbing around on a wall or trying to dig in a small space, where you're pretty much guaranteed to get hit by the meteors. And if you punch one of the boulders into one of the door things on that wall, they'll actually break, even though the walls really don't look like there's something that you can break. It's a really good thing that the rocks actually respawn, because it would be really terrible if they didn't. Mainly because one of Knuckles' upgrades, in order to actually get it, it is mandatory that you punch a boulder into one of these walls and break it. And I wasted 2 more minutes here because I didn't realize that you were supposed to get onto a platform with the boulder on it. Like, I think that one to the left of me. I didn't get the idea to punch it over to the one door that you can't break at all with the boulders over here. That is so misleading. Why have those boulders over there if all they do is, I mean, they get you goodies like extra lives, but it's just so misleading. So I wasted quite a bit of time here, so I cut. But yeah, I'm gonna be spending almost the entire part here. And I didn't really waste that much of that time on trying and failing to get the upgrade. Like, I only wasted, like, I'm at 3 minutes right now, but that's only a small fraction of the amount of time that I'm going to spend here. Because again, it's really big and wide open, and the radar, the gimped radar, is a huge problem. Well, I'm pretty sure this level would still suck even if the radar was good because of how massive the level is. One thing I do like about the space levels is that it's really fun and satisfying using the drill attack when you're in a really high up elevation. And then you can just, you have the camera panning over to show you from above, and you go down so fast, and it's really fun to look at. And the treasure hunting levels, you basically want to play them like the biggest klepto ever. Break everything you see, and every time there's a place where you can dig that might have an emerald shard in it, dig. And one of the annoying things about this level is that there's these floating crates. And it's kind of difficult, it's kind of awkward to break them because they're not on the ground. And because they're tilted, you can't really drill attack and kill them and destroy them that way. So you have no choice but to use the third attack from Knuckles' combo, where he does an uppercut. And that's the only way that you can break them. And it's kind of awkward because every time that he attacks, he automatically goes forwards a little. So it's easy to end up walking past them so that you're not standing directly below them when he does the Shoryuken anymore. And obviously those black crates are special because you can't actually break them. Can you imagine how much more annoying this game would be if the only way that you could kill enemies was by punching them? Like this guy, for example. How much more annoying would this guy be if you couldn't glide into his head? I paused there so that I'd be able to read the hint. And what I did was I read the hint out loud to myself so that I could better understand what it was trying to tell me. Something useful about the treasure hunting levels is that if you pause the game, the hints will show up. So it's not like you have only one chance to read them and memorize them, they disappear. It's more like the hints show up every time you pause the game, and you can press the L and R buttons to scroll through all of the hints that you've gotten for that one particular emerald shard. Why can't you? Ugh! I hate that! You tried to climb up there, but for some reason I fell, and then I had to take a long time getting all the way back up to where I was. I really like the way that the character symbols look inside the life boxes. I did a minor cut there. That was mainly because I didn't want to... Because I didn't want the file size to get too big because I recorded the entire thing without ever stopping to make a new recording. I didn't want any dropped frames. Although that only ever happened to me when I was recording Unleashed off my laptop. And I only recorded it off my laptop for like the first country or so. But I just wanted to be sure. I didn't want to record the entire level in just one recording. And then it turns out, oh, I've got a whole bunch of dropped frames, I've got to record all over again. But anyways, I figured this is as good a time as any to talk about the voice actors for this game. And honestly, this game has my favorite voice cast in all of Sonic. I just love how the voices always suit the characters that they have. I mean, I don't really... Sometimes the acting isn't all that great, but I blame that more on the voice direction. Because again, SE1 sort of had the problem where there were Japanese voice directors who didn't really speak English all that well, constantly telling the voice actors to repeat their lines over and over again, getting progressively worse every time. So it's not like the voice actors for this game deserve to be fired because they did a poor performance. That was the voice director's fault. They could have done a great job. It just really sucks that they have these perfect voices that are perfectly suited for the characters in this game. And in other games, the voices aren't nearly as good. They aren't nearly as suited to the characters. Knuckles is voiced by Scott Drier. And I really like his take on Knuckles, to be honest. He sounds suave, and so he sounds cool, to be honest. I don't know why you can't just keep on climbing to the left there and get onto the outside of that building. It's so awkward. Like, you have to jump off it and then climb onto the wall again. And we're up to 9.5 minutes with this level. This is ridiculous. But anyways, I just love Scott Drier's take on Knuckles. He makes him sound very serious and respectable, and he makes him sound like he's wise, as a Guardian of the Master Emerald should be. But he's still a tough guy. Like, he still sounds tough. Like, some people complain that he sounds a little too monotonous at times. Like, he sounds like he doesn't give quite enough inflection into his voice. But that's because he's portraying him as a serious character. Like, well, I'll point it out in the Dark story. But even that line that people like to make fun of is justified in its inflection. I just miss the way that Knuckles was voiced in this game. As for the voice of Tails, I hope you like nepotism, because he was voiced by the younger brother of his previous actor, Connor Bringas. He sounds actually sympathetic in this game. He doesn't sound bratty like in the previous game. So I like his voice a lot, but the acting is kind of poor. Sometimes it sounds like he's reading directly from the script. Same goes for Amy's voice actress, for example.
I have to try harder.
But still, I think Amy's voice is the best it's ever been in this game. Aside from the voice direction. The voice of Rouge is Lane Manella, and I love her voice. She sounds feminine and spoiled and materialistic. It's the perfect voice for a character like her, the jewel thief archetype.
Treasure hunter. Did you find my emerald?
That's a good one. Your emerald. Talking to you is a waste of time.
Very well. If that's how you want to play, I will take it from you.
I think part of the problem with her voice direction is that sometimes she sounds like she's just pronouncing every word individually. But I don't mind that because I'm just used to, like, that's how Rouge talks to me. And the same voice for Rouge is for Omochao. It's a different voice, obviously, but it's the same actor. And Omochao has a pretty annoying voice. David Humphrey is the voice of Shadow, and I consider that to be the best villain voice that Shadow has ever had. Like, I really love his voice. This boss fight is really annoying because you can't just punch your opponent. You have to constantly use the drill attack. And usually the opponent will stay on the narrow platform, so it's pretty easy to aim for them. But I just hate the beginning part where they're constantly running away from you instead of just running up to you right away, making it easy for you to attack them. I definitely think that the music for this is much better in the Dark Story because the music of Rouge's theme perfectly suits this cutscene. That's why I don't entirely mind talking over this, because Knuckles' rap doesn't really suit this scene.
What kind of lady goes around stealing gems anyway?
That's a great response. You can fly! It's not just that she can glide. In Oak 6, she flies perfectly fine. Aww. Oh man.
Is that how you say thanks to someone who just saved your life?
I love that line.
Oh, you won. You just wanted to hold my hand, didn't you? That's why you saved me. You disagree?
This isn't a joke, you know. Think what you want, that girl.
She has such hilarious lines in this game. Like, say what you want about the script sometimes, but some of my favorite lines of the franchise is in this story.
What?
Fine, then just take them. They stink like echidnas do.
If that's what you thought, you should have given me them in the first place.
I just love his response for that.
Finally.
What?
I'm sorry if I hurt you.
That's one of the few times that he ever apologizes in the
We should
franchise.
get going.
Aww. I love her response here. And I love that smile of hers. I can understand why people ship them. Even though they're complete opposites, so they wouldn't really be compatible, I guess. So in the next part, I'll be showing off Crazy Gadget and how awful it is. So see you then.